As people age, there's a natural decline in their muscle strength and muscle mass. In many videos, I discussed the importance of maintaining muscle strength and muscle mass because they're important for maintaining physical function, they're important for reducing the risk of developing medical conditions, and they're important for improving longevity. There are several questions I'm often asked about the practical aspects of implementing a resistance training program, and some of them are as follows. Should I use free weights or machines? Does it matter if I exercise in the morning or in the evening? Does the order of the exercise that I perform make a difference? And finally, does the number of days per week make a difference either? In this video, I'll review the science that answers many of these questions. Hi, I'm Dr. Edmond Cleeman. I'm an orthopedic surgeon here in New York. I specialize in sports medicine and arthroscopic surgery. Let's start with the first question. Free weights, such as using dumbbells or barbells, or machines? Does it matter which one you use? So let's discuss a study that has reviewed this. So in a study that looked at almost 40 men, and they had them exercise in a resistant program for about 8 weeks, and they split them up. Half of them did free weights and some of them did machines. And the training variables, such as how many reps and sets and how much weight they were doing, was similar between the two. And they were doing exercises like squats and bench press and shoulder press, these type of exercises. And what they found was that in both groups, they significantly increased their strength, and their muscle mass, their hypertrophy, also increased in both of these groups. But the important factor was that there was no difference between the two. This study demonstrates that either free weights or machines can similarly improve your strength, so picking the one that you enjoy most is probably the best way to go. What about the order of the exercise that we do? Does it matter which exercise you do first, second, or third? Will this have an impact on your strength or your hypertrophy, meaning muscle mass that you gain? There was a meta-analysis of 11 studies, over 260 subjects, with an average training of about 9 weeks duration. And what they were looking at in the studies was exercises that were multi-joint. So imagine, let's say, doing a bench press. So you're using your chest, your shoulder, your elbow. So these are multiple joints to perform the exercise. Or a single joint. So you can think of just, let's say, a dumbbell that you're using in your arm just to work out your biceps. So that's just a single joint. And so this study was looking to see if you did single joint first and then the multi-joint exercises next, or if you did it the reverse. And they wanted to see, did it make a difference in the strength that was gained? This meta-analysis found that increases in muscle strength were the largest in those exercises that were performed first. So if you were doing multi-joint first, then you saw bigger strength gains there. If you did single joint first, you saw bigger gains there. With regard to hypertrophy, they didn't see much of a difference between the two. So which one should you do first? Should you do the multi-joint exercises first, or should you do the single joint first? Well, I think for the vast majority of people, particularly older people, I think you get a bigger bang for your buck if you're doing the multi-joint first, because you're getting lots more muscle groups and you're getting more joints that are involved to see the bigger gains. If someone is, let's say, has a sport-specific or specific reason for just a single joint, that might play differently, but I think for most people, multi-joint, doing those first probably makes the most sense. Now, the reason why the exercises you do first probably see the biggest gains in strength is because you're not fatigued at that point. So you can imagine when you first start exercising, your muscles aren't fatigued. But by the end of the exercise, you are, so you're not going to be able to do as much and see as much gains. Does the time of day, morning or evening, influence your strength? So where this question comes from is that there are studies that show that when you test someone's strength, if you test them in the morning versus testing them in the evening, it seems that the muscle strength is stronger in the evening. And so the hypothesis, which makes sense, is people were thinking that therefore you should probably work out towards the evening time because you would see greater gains. So studies have been done to look to see if this is true, in fact. So there was a meta-analysis of over 200 subjects, and the average duration of the exercise training programs were about 11 weeks. And they found that with regard to both strength and muscle mass, regardless if you work out in the morning or in the evening, both will see increases in those parameters, but it doesn't really make a difference between the two. Increasing your strength and your muscle mass is dependent on how much exercise you're doing, sort of the volume, how many reps or sets that you're performing. So the question comes up if, let's say you're doing 12 sets of upper body strength training. Does it matter if you do those all in 1 day, 2 days, 3 days over the course of the week? A meta-analysis of 13 studies that had people do the same volume of exercise. So let's say, for example, the same 12 sets, and they looked at breaking those up over a different number of days per week. They found that muscle mass increased, but it was no difference whether or not you did all those exercises in fewer days or more days. As long as you're doing the same amount of volume, and we'll make up a number, let's say 12 sets. So imagine if you did 12 sets on just 1 day, or you did 6 sets broken up over 2 days, or you did, let's say, 3 sets broken up over 4 days. It didn't really matter. The increase in muscle mass was similar between all three. So it's just more dependent on the volume than how many days per week you're actually working out. Let's wrap up this video and go over a few key points. Number 1, free weights, machine weights, similar results. Pick whichever one you find most comfortable and you enjoy doing. Number 2, the order of your exercise that you perform will influence your strength gains. Those being performed first will see the biggest gains. So you may want to switch up the order of your exercise from time to time. Number 3, the time of day, whether it's the morning or the evening, seems to give similar results. So if you're a morning person and you like to work out then, that's fine. If you prefer to work out in the afternoon, that seems to be fine as well. Number 4, the volume of exercise, how many sets and reps you do, is most important. So break it up over how many days per week suits your schedule the best, as long as you're doing the same volume. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please click the like button below and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you in my next video or in my office.